Hey, this is Josh Keaton, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hey everybody, it is Carter Mann, and holy shit, you have just fallen into the pull bag. Hope there's nothing sharp in there.
Alrighty then.
You've just jumped inside the pull bag. Join TFG1Mike and the rest of the comic crew here at the GCRN as they make their great escape into comics. From DC, Marvel, and Image to IDW, Boom Studios, and Zenescope, we have everything right here. We cover things like Transformers, He-Man, superheroes, TMNT, and Radiant Black. Yeah, we have all that and so much more. It's all inside the pull bag here on the Geekcast Radio Network. So, without further ado, it's time to talk about the comics we're reading right now, here inside the pull bag.
Hey everybody, it's Carter Mann, and you have just jumped inside the pull bag. That sounded weird.
Monotonous, isn't it?
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. This is episode 456.5. I am, of course, TFG1Mike, and joining me is my brother from across the pond. It's Mikey from Moonbase 2. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, and we are here to dive into Carter Mann's Immortal Orphans. This is going to be a super-sized episode because we have issues 3 and 4 of this epic tale. And on the front cover of issue 3, we have Science Boy being tripped over, basically being tripped by Murder Cat. That's awesome. And the robot Artie is the little image inside the issue thing there. Very, very cool. It's been a while since we've done this, folks, so forgive us if we screw stuff up, or if I screw stuff up. We start this one in the outskirts of Duran City in the year 2220. I'm so glad I will not live till then. And we pretty much pick up exactly where we left off in issue 2, with Ganian and Artie coming out of the other side of the Portalumis portal. I gotta say, I'm loving the art still.
It's good. It's good here, actually. It was interesting coming back to it after some time away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went back and I looked at issues 1 and 2 again, and his art style is his art style, but I see major upgrades in the art.
Mm-hmm.
And we will definitely see that once we get to issue 4. But I love the backgrounds. I love the character designs. I think they're really, really cool. One thing I did kind of forget was that Artie attached itself or himself, or I can never tell if Artie's a guy or a girl, so I'll just say itself since it's a artificial intelligence. But I had forgotten that it attached itself to Ganian in order to go through the portal. And Carter, I'm sure you'll let me know, whether you're in Facebook jail or not, if I'm pronouncing Ganian's name the correct way, which I'm probably not. And, he just doesn't want to deal with anything, and he wants to go back, and, there's no going. What happened to the portal thingy? Nope. Poof, gone. It's a one-way trip. Don't you just hate that?
Yeah, that's kind of something you want in a travel brochure at the very least.
You'd think it would be in there, but oh no. And I love how he pulls the robot by a couple of its wires or tubes or hoses, and you want to run that by me again? Oh boy. We get to Quinn's house, Quinn's sky home, and he, Science Boy, and Murder Cat are all hanging out, and Science Boy wants to
be Science Murder Boy.
Pretty much, yeah. And
the science of murder.
There you go. I'm sure there are a lot of forensics involved. So yeah, he wants to go after Julian Durant, and Quinn is like, wait a minute, let's just think about this for a second. And then that's where Murder Cat comes in and she trips him. Like, shut up, kid. Oh, what are you thinking to this point so far?
I thought it was actually a pretty strong start. Gannon and Artie have a really good dynamic where they're just basically... Artie is the most unflappable person in the world, and Gannon is deeply flapped. But I also, like, I'm not super shocked with the, like, it's a one-way trip reveal, because, like, that happens. That's quite common. Sides Boy and Murder Cat, like, Murder Cat, I feel like there is something bigger going on there, but I can't decide if there is. Just feel like, just because this book's not really set up for, like, one-off gags.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's something going on there.
Yeah, it does. I don't know what it is, but it does.
So, but it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see, like, Science Boy is very much still a child, and he's acting like it. So yeah, I think it's a good setup for an opening, and also it's our first interaction between people.
Yeah. Even though this is the third issue, the first two issues set up the whole world, at least the future world, and then now that they're back in the past, they're setting this up. But Carter's doing it in a way where it makes sense for his story, and you have to introduce the characters to each other. I mean, like you said, Science Boy may look like an adult, but he's still 14 years old inside and at heart and whatever. I do love the backgrounds. I think those are absolutely amazing.
No, I think he's got some very good background, good light work in this one, actually.
Yeah, very good light work in this one. And then when we get to the next one later, oh man, the light work in issue 4 is like literally worlds apart. So we have Gannon and Artie, and they are just kind of like walking around, and Quinn and Science Boy detect them because they're looking into the big giant flash of light anomaly thing. And, Quinn says to Science Boy, all right, you stay in the car, kid. I'm not a kid. And, Quinn goes to investigate, and we see that it's, he comes up against, Gannon and Science Boy, and they kind of introduce themselves. They do and they do. It's like one of those, like, it isn't one of those this ends here kind of things. It's one of those things like, who the hell are you and what are you doing in my timeline?
To me, it's kind of like those new neighbors have moved in and you're trying to say hi, but like they're constantly arguing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on like, listen, I just want to like introduce myself, but the wife's yelling at you, the husband's yelling at you, like no one's happy, and I'm just like, this is incredibly awkward.
Yes, very, very awkward. And then, you have the awkwardness of Artie and Gannon with the whole, don't reveal too much, and I'm going to punch you in your face, and that's going to hurt you, Gannon, more than it's going to hurt Artie.
Yeah. I like that followed by an explanation. The nanomachines in his body will save his hand, but nothing can heal his emotional wounds.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be like, nothing can heal his emotional wounds. Only years of therapy can help.
Well, of course, because that's what we all need is years of therapy.
I think everyone does.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
I mean, I know I'm crazy. I don't know about the rest of the world.
Well, I think we've all gone a little crazy, and it's, say what you will about Batman Forever and Jim Carrey's performance, but always reminds me of the old don't do drugs ads. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Does anybody else feel like a fried egg? Like, whatever. But But yeah, no, they meet up with Quinn and Science Boy meet up with Artie and Gannon, and then in come walking Liberty and I want to say Mutagen Man, but I know that's not his name. Marcus. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So Liberty and Marcus Duran show up, and Gannon's like, "What the? Wait, my mom died. What the hell?" And Artie's like, "No, don't." And okay, he got his face ran into a fist here. Boomy. Whoosh. I love that Carter is using his own onomatopoeia without doing the pow bang zowie thing. I think that is so cool. Yeah, and again the art. Oh, and that's right. And apparently Quinn has a nice little trick up his sleeve. Gotta be careful of them rakes, folks.
Yeah. Rakes. Evil rakes. This is like, he really should be standing there just going like, and then walking off and hitting it on.
Yep. What the fuck is going on? Where are all these goddamn rakes coming from? There's just gonna be another one. I love that. I think that's awesome and hilarious. And
I like how Artie's just like, I did not predict this many rakes.
yeah, exactly. That begs the question of how many rakes did Artie predict? I mean, I know he's saying that sarcastically, and I did not see that coming kind of a way, but I'm just curious if Artie predicted any of that, because that would be hilarious. And then we get to the shocking part of the issue, or at least for now, where they kill him.
Yep,
Liberty just ups and shoots him right in the face and right in the shoulder and right in the whatever. Zap, zap, zap. Man. I don't know if Carter is writing a new superhero book for the ages or a new true crime novel show that should be on Investigation Discovery or something, because seriously, I feel like this whole thing right now is something out of Forensic Files.
Yeah, it's I like the framing of the shot where everyone's looking through his Gannon's body.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's quite a clever shot to use, especially since like Artie's just like, this has just been a terrible introduction.
Yeah, terrible introductions all around. That's just crazy. And then Science Boy shows up.
Uber boober baby.
Yeah, I'm.
Is that how 14-year-olds talk?
I don't know. When I was a 14-year-old, we were in 1994. We were very dark and gritty, and we blamed that on Nirvana in a good way.
Did you have eyeliner on?
No. No.
Did you want to have eyeliner on because it made you have feelings?
No, never.
Did you tell people that no one understood you, man? You don't get me, man.
Yes, we did that. At least I did. But no eyeliner, none of that. Oh no, none of that. But yes. And then, holy shit, a zombie.
Yeah, it's a weird scene because I like that they're like, oh no, it's fine, zombies are normal. Oh no, wait, resurrections, those are weird.
Yeah. Like, wait, how are you even alive? But his nanomachines, even the holes in your clothes healed. Oh man, I wish I wish that we had more and more of this, because I wish I could read this all in one. Like, I wish Carter had the entire story already out, because every time I read one of these things, it's like, ooh, what's next? Ooh, I'm tired of waiting. Please, let me read more.
It's definitely one where, like, I do think not doing it as a big volume might actually hurt the book, because they're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Continuity heavy.
Yeah.
And, like, having it, especially, like, with the, a regular release stream for independent publisher kind of thing, like, it's very easy to have to go, like, okay, I need to do a reminder for this.
Yeah, and I know that he has, and I don't blame him, because he's at the mercy of Comixology and Amazon and whatever, and that gets into the whole discussion of how Amazon, the assholes that they are basically folding Comixology into Kindle, and Comixology.com will no longer exist anymore at one point or another later this year or whatever, which is ridiculous, because
it's
okay.
If there's one thing we all know, is that when something works, someone powerful will come up and buy it and fuck it up.
Yep. Just like Microsoft came up and bought Skype, and it's been working for a while. It worked better there for a while. It's working for us right now, but they've all but forgotten about it because, we need Teams, or we need Zoom, or we need this, or we need that.
Yeah. It's like half the reason they buy it is just make sure it's not competing with their product.
True.
Ooh. Technical difficulties. Let's move on, shall we?
These, as we said, these introductions are not going so well, and everybody has questions. Because obviously Ganon's alive, and Liberty's there along with Marcus. And Liberty wants to basically kill Science Boy, apparently.
For science.
Yes, for science. And yeah.
And then Quinn happens, or
I don't know if it was Quinn or if it was just a random bird, because I didn't see Quinn. Okay, so Quinn's got the sword to Liberty's throat.
And then Bird hits her brother in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Really, really hard.
Yeah, really, really hard. So hard it knocks him out.
Houston, we have a problem.
So yeah, we're pretty sure, for the record, that a bird would not knock a guy out like that.
I mean, not that bird. There are birds that could do it, but not that bird.
Mm-hmm.
Like if an ostrich landed on him, I don't know.
That's funny.
But I like it a lot. Like, it's just so random, and that's something this book does well, is just interrupting a scene with just the most random stuff and like not making it seem utterly bizarre.
Yeah. What I also love is how, even though you can kind of tell by the silhouettes, but the panel down here, I forget which, it's on the current page that we're on, where they're all standing over Herpy Boy here that's knocked out by the bird, but then it goes to them in shadow, and what Carter has done here is, even though you can clearly see their character designs of who is who, he has illuminated them with various things from their designs so you can tell them apart. So Quinn's on the far left, Liberty's in the middle, Liberty and Ganion are in the middle, and then obviously Artie's on the end, and of course, with giant red and blue boobs, how can you not tell where Artie is?
It's a nice visual effect, and I actually wish more people do stuff like this, to be honest.
Yeah, that would be really cool, especially because you're trying to focus on what they're saying, and what they're saying is, we all need to move out of this area. Psychops are going to be coming to investigate. So long as you behave, you can both come with us. If there's room for the robot, that is. Liberty goes on to say, we might be able to use the clone to get into Julian. Let's take her back to your place and reevaluate our options. Whoa. You're not leaving with her. The brute you can have, but she stays with me. And honestly, I'd like to talk more about these magic rakes.
Fear the rake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah.
And deadliest invention.
Very much so, especially if you step on them.
It's happened more than once.
Well, I'm sure. It's always a strange feeling hearing an old nickname, slightly more so when you haven't heard it in hundreds of years. So, Quinn the Lucky. Oh, boy. So, apparently Artie's, because we get into this a little bit later, that Artie's history banks are either realigning or reformatting or whatever, and they bring the dead bird with them, too.
Yeah, why not? I suppose what with Artie, at least you could say, like, once you're there, time's changing, nothing will ever be the same again. So his history banks are out of date.
Yeah.
Just by default, because like everything that's happened since they got there is something that hadn't happened before.
Yep, very true. And this issue 3 ends with Artie saying that it's Gannian, it's me, Artie, and we are communicating via a quantum connection now. You need only think to respond. We have roughly 2 days to prepare for the Porta Lumis. These people possess unique abilities that may prove useful to our efforts. Perhaps you should put aside your personal grudges just long enough to save the planet. Yeah, I know.
I feel like he's asking a lot.
Yeah. I mean, because, personal grudges, they're all the rage, right?
Yeah. Listen, if you're going to have something, it might as well be a grudge.
Absolutely. All right, issue 3. I love the way Carter is writing the story. I also found in issue 3 that because we're just having one timeline, like in the first 2 issues, they went between 2 different time periods. And I said back then in episode 399 that I can never keep up with that kind of stuff because it goes back and forth too frenetically for me. So I'm glad we've got most, if not all, of the characters that we're going to get, at least to this point, in one place. And yeah, I dug issue 3. I thought issue 3 was great. What did you think overall?
I thought it worked quite well. I think adding everything into a single linear story was a very wise move. Just the way Carter lays out his books and stuff like that, the way they did the jumps back and forth didn't really help his story, I think, in some ways. This is everything lining up and starting to get in together. It's also adding in a bit more mystery, like what's going on with Science Boy. It's brought in the time travel aspect and Liberty's grand plan. And I'm amused by the fact no one really seems that bothered by Artie. Like, yeah, sure, Robot Man, that's fine. Like time travel, that's the true like breaking point for him. It's like, I don't know, time travel, man. Like, this man uses his kidneys as a weapon, but that's fine. That's time travel, yo. Overall, I think I don't know if I'd say it's like standing out from the previous issues, but I think it's off to a good start. Or rather, it's a good middle point would be a better way of phrasing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much, the first 2 issues, as I said earlier, it gets you settled into the story. You got to meet all the characters, at least to that point. And now you have an adventure with the characters here, even though it's a continuation of what has already come before it. And once we get to issue 4 in a little bit, oh wow. basically doesn't change everything, but it adds a whole lot of new stuff.
Yep.
What would you give issue 3 0 to 5 stars?
I'd say it's very comfortable 4.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting. Again, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast so far, Carter's art style is continuing to... I'm continuing to get used to it, but it is continuing to improve to the point of he's trying new things. He's doing different things with lights and shadows, and we're going to even see that even more here in issue 4. So 4 is all around for us. We are going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about issue 4 after this.
DeCian, the superhero webcomic. DeCian's got superhero antics and sexy girls. For action, comedy, mayhem, and more, read it now at DeCian.com. DASIEN.com.
Hey, it's Wes from Poppin' Off Toys. Wanted to let you know about PoppinOffToys.com. We can be your number one source for Funko collectible figures to add to your ever-growing collection. If you're in Nashville, Tennessee, we actually have a retail store that you can come by, 5916 Charlotte Pike. And for the rest of us, PoppinOffToys.com is always open, and you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. And the name is just simply Poppin' Off Toys. Thank you so much, and always keep it poppin'.
Because the world needs another movie podcast.
The Geekcast Radio Network presents for your listening pleasure the Cinema Geek.
Hosted by Amanda, Kevin, Matt, and Dan.
Each week we dive headfirst in the landscape of movies as we discuss movie news, play movie games,
go in-depth on reviews,
and even have a top 10 countdown or two.
Also, don't miss our director retrospective series, where we review noted directors' movies film by film. Bottom line is, if you love movies and love podcasts, you need to experience the Cinema Geeks.
You can find us on iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, or GeekCastRadio.com.
On the Simplistic Reviews podcast, we talk movies. We talk TV. We talk...
Hello, Julie, what the heck are you doing?
Trying to make our spots sound more exciting by adding explosions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have got the point across with sound effects, not the real thing. Car.
Download the show on iTunes or at simplisticreviews.blogspot.com.
I'm sure your insurance company will cover that.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
Hey gamers, TV's Mr. Neil here. The Gaming Hipster is my personal podcast in which I take you on a journey through my history of gaming, both new and old. Each month is a new topic show in which I bring you my console memories, give reviews of my favorite video games, and talk with cool guests.
People have made cartridges. I've actually played Netflix on Nintendo.
I was making sure that I got everything. I was writing it all down.
They fixed that for the third fake prototype.
And that's the first time I remember seeing real animated boobs.
Find the podcast at geekcastradio.com or on Spotify. You can also hear a deluxe version of The Gaming Hipster at ravinghipster.com or patreon.com/Mr. Neil. For $2 a month, you can hear longer versions of the podcast with after-show segments and stuff too raw for the internet. You also get various topic shows, my commentary podcast, The Big Bad Movie Show, commercial-free Geekcast stuff, and more. All at patreon.com/Mr. Neil and ravinghipster.com.
Oh, hey, I got something.
Since 2009, we have been the premier cartoon podcast here at the Geekcast Radio Network. We are Tooncast. From taking you beyond the cartoons we grew up with to seasonal saucy toon talk, and now we get the origins of toonsters everywhere as we ask guests 30 questions about their cartoon watching experiences, plus so much more. Tooncast is back. Join me, TFG1Mike, and the rest of the GCRN crew as we give you all the toon talk you will ever need, only on the GCRN, and wherever you consume your podcasts. We are beyond good, beyond evil, beyond your wildest imagination. We are all tunes all the time here on Tooncast. Yeah. Toycast is back. We are talking toys once more here on the Geekcast Radio Network's Toy and Action Figure podcast. From breaking into the display case to our toy topic talk and the brand new Origins in Toy collections, where we get guests to tell us their toy story of how they got into toy collecting. Toycast is the only toy podcast you will ever need. Find us on geekcastradio.com and any podcatching client you choose to use. use. Now go forth, transform and transcend your toy collecting today while listening to Toycast.
Discover a world of vintage and modern toys that's more than meets the eye with the Triple Takeover Toycast.
Hosted by toy writers and photographers Toybox Soapbox, 6O, and TF1, this informal and chilled out series of discussions cover everything from vintage Transformers to Mask, Diaclone, Microman and more, be it nostalgic or current.
Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual robot enthusiast, all are welcome.
Triple Takeover Toycast.
All right, folks, we are back, and it is time for Immortal Orphans number 4 from Carter Mann. Carter Mann, the creator of the series and overall comic god. That's a reference to his old radio god days. Anyway, issue 4 has... Okay. I believe this is the first time we're meeting Julian Duran.
Yeah, not the visual I was expecting, but sure.
Not the visual I was expecting. But much like I love seeing Murder Cat in the upper left-hand corner under the issue number, I love seeing Marcus being hit by the bird. Pang! It's hilarious. So, again, just based solely on this front cover here, without looking into the issue, I'm assuming this is Julian Duran because no other character looks like this, and I'm actually surprised that he got away with the Rolling Stones tongue on the cheek. Like, seriously, they're very... Yeah, anyway, very, very cool. So we start off at Quinn's Sky Home.
I love that that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
The Sky Home.
Hey, I mean, we're all going to have to be we'll all be dead by that time, but human history is going to be in the God, I can't even talk. In the time period of the Jetsons at some point, and they'll be like, the Jetsons? What the hell was that?
I mean, like this historical documentary.
Yes, exactly. This historical documentary of 1962 animation. 1962, 1980s, because anyway. But yes. So, yeah, we're at Quinn's Sky Home, and they've got Liberty and Marcus trapped underground,
And Suicide Bird, the newest member of the team.
Yes, Murder Cat and Suicide Bird. I love that.
Supposedly just give the image of like the bird standing in front of the cat. Take me.
Yeah.
At the cold embrace. Take me now.
Yep. Pretty much. Speaking of Murder Cat, she decides to trip up Ganon here, and these things don't attack people, do they? That one might. As she's licking her ass.
As you do.
Yeah, exactly.
We all need hobbies.
What were you going to say?
We all need hobbies.
No, were you going to say something else besides we all need hobbies?
No, I was just, as I was scrolling down, it's just like the picture right after she trips him, she looks rather stoned.
Yes, she does. Because she looks very happy with herself that she tripped him.
Maybe he's not the only one tripping.
That's... You never know.
I'm not sorry.
And apparently Science Boy is an adult now, and he wants all the bourbon he can have.
Well, we've all been there.
That's true. That's true. And I love how Ganion says, now I'm watching Science Boy take shots. Still the weirdest day ever. I came here with Artie over there 200 years from in the future. And I do like how Carter, like for people who may just jump onto this, how he says one or two things. Like, yes, it's a continuing story, but he'll say something like, "Oh, I'm Ganian. I came with Artie over there. We're from 200 years in the future." Okay, that's all you really need. You need more, but that's really all you need, kind of thing to introduce a character, and I guess that could, relate to all kinds of questions.
Something like Carter really deserves credit for. He's like, he knows you're not here for big exposition reviewing the fact that these characters that you already met are here and who they are. So it's just like, listen, bum, 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 move on.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I love Artie. That's insulting. Yeah, between Artie and Murder Cat, so far they are my two favorite characters. I like some of the other ones as well. I don't dislike any of the characters yet, because we're still not to the point of meeting, apparently, that rat bastard Julian Durand. But, okay, and yes, Ganon does call Artie a he, so I will call Artie a he from now on. So, I just wasn't sure. And I do love the two of them. Look, his continuity sub thingies were damaged in the portal. Incorrect. Sometimes he glitches. Wildly incorrect. Shut up, Artie. I just absolutely love that. I think that's hilarious.
They've got Ganon and Artie's dynamic is really what I think in a large way carries a lot of this book.
Yeah. Well, because again, Carter has set up 4 main protagonists, a team of Ganon and Artie, and then the team of Quinn and Science Boy, because Ganon and Artie are from the future. Science Boy and Quinn are from, at least in this continuity's present, let's say. And it's interesting seeing how he works in the various things of explaining things or making, taking shots at Artie or whatever, It's very fun. It's a very fun read. What I did notice is that there aren't so many, because they aren't talking about Julian so much yet. They're more so he's more so trying to get the reader to get to know these 4 characters kind of thing, plus Science Boy and Murder Cat. Or not plus Science, but, these characters. So we have a lot less, Julian Durand, he's an ass, he's a this, he's a that, he's a whatever. And I wasn't sure he was going to do this, but now we have a peek through the other side of the Porta Lumis.
Clarence!
I heard you the first time. This better be good.
I wouldn't be bothering someone with your busy schedule if I didn't think it was at least a code 2.
Famines and floods are code 2. Tornadoes and earthquakes are code 2.
All right, so maybe it's a code 3. I haven't memorized the manual yet.
Well, memorize it and get back to me.
But by then it'll be too late. And a lot of people's Christmases will be ruined forever. And I'll never get my wings.
All right. Just stop talking and show me what you got. And it better be good.
Carter's probably going to hate me for this because I'm pretty sure he's not a big 90210 fan. But seriously, all of these light entities that he has here remind me of that one episode. It's a super famous original Beverly Hills 90210 episode where they try to pull off, It's a Wonderful Life, and they have the 2 shining stars in the sky. And one of them sounds like an older male character, and the other one sounds like a young female character, where the male is like, "Oh, this is how this is supposed to happen. This is how. Oh, you got to watch this. It's a Wonderful Life kind of thing, And all of this new color, all of this pop, all of this stuff, I was like, I could not. I'm like, Are they going to be able to save the busload of children before the train hits it? That was the first, and I'm only looking at these I don't want to say inanimate objects, but these new characters, these 5 new characters, or 6 or 7, or let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's like 7 of these nuclei blob-looking things. But again, we're going to a completely different part of the story, and he's introducing new characters within the same issue of having everything to do with the current characters that we already know. That's a good thing. And he does it in a way where, okay, I want to create new characters, new personalities, but I don't want to have to, and I'm not calling you lazy, Carter, I promise I'm not, but I don't want to have to draw and color all new characters. I can just make a red blob, a purple blob, a blue blob, a yellow blob. And, it's, these characters that are on the other side of the portal who are no longer in the physical realm. What were you thinking with this psychedelic?
I was very confused. I won't lie. We're just kind of like, okay, yeah, what? And then, with it, the seeming reveal as we went on, I was still kind of like, what?
Yeah.
But very what it is. I would say it's an interesting thing to throw in, but it does hurt the pacing of the book.
You think it does?
I think it derails it slightly because after issue 3 where you had everything's come together, we've lost these interludes that can take you out of each scene. We're back to those again, except this time it's setting up new characters, which means it's more important that you pay attention to these.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I see this as, by the time they, on the previous page where, settle in, Gannon, let me pour you a glass of Quinn's bourbon. My story involves your lady friend over there, and it ain't exactly going to help you sleep tonight. So I see that as a chapter break for the overall main hero story, and then we come into this sub-chapter with all of these new characters and this other side of the portal, and I'm going to end up calling them so many damn different things, and this is for Carter more than anybody else. I'm not trying to insult you, dude, but now I just thought they all look like different colors of snot. Giant booger characters, great. But I like it. I think it's interesting. I want to see more to see what comes of this, because you have apparently multiple parental figures trying to stop their child figure from going to the other side of the portal kind of thing. We get to Durant Center, and man, this is creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
DC.
Yeah. This is this is a lot. I was not expecting, look, I know Carter isn't going to always be lighthearted, and that's not what this story is, but we need to see the dark side of how much of a monster Julian is. I didn't think he was going to show that in full character model, where what I can't forgive, Bernie, is how you turned my daughter against me, and his whole face in blood red shadow type things. And yeah. So what are you thinking with the finally getting introduced to Julian?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because family is kind of a big theme running through this, and it's very much in the context of his family. It's he's reacting to an affair, he's reacting to feelings of betrayal, and clearly, as far as the wife is concerned, our liberty is not liberty. And he's, clearly they're really playing up the idea he's a bit detached. He's a bit jokery in some ways. He's also got these really high cheekbones, a really perma smile face, and weird skin eyebrows. He's got a quite distinctive visual. It makes me curious to see where, like, I would love to see a bit more of his backstory, because, like, visually he's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, visually he is very interesting. And yeah, I'm hoping in the future we will see more of how Julian became the tyrant that he is. I mean, because I don't even think any of us know how Agent Orange became the tyrant that he is. Oops, sorry. You know, so. And Julian says he's going to help all of them. We're going to be a big family again, all of us, forever. We go back to Quinn's sky home, and Liberty wants out big time. Gannon's like, you took her guns away, right? You know. And again, Carter does the awesome thing with the shadow, this time with Artie, Science Boy, Gannion, and Quinn. Very, very cool. I love that. I think that's really cool, where Artie says, it was clear that she did mean to harm Science Boy. Well, yeah, she wanted to harm him. She definitely wanted to harm him. They're all agreeing with each other. And now Marcus is going to try to boomy his way out of the cell, and oh boy, we might as well let them out.
Yeah. It's interesting, like, this part of the book is really, like, the parts focused on Gannon, Artie, and Quinn and the rest. They're like, it's essentially one extended conversation, which I actually think played out fairly well, and then it gets into an action thing.
Yeah, the one extended conversation thing is really cool, and then we have some action. Like, yeah, as long as you not necessarily split up the story, but as long as you've said, pace it right, pace it in a way where it's going to flow well. And I think Carter has done that here with these characters in this scene, because, you know, Gannon tries to apologize to Liberty, and I always try my best to look at various things that are right under the surface of the art. And on the page where Gannon apologizes, we start having a Murder Cat montage.
Yeah.
Because that bottom page, she's on her back. The next panel where Liberty says, no blaster? Fine. She's like splayed out like she's dead. And then as I believe Liberty is throwing, she's throwing Gannon. So as we see Murder Cat in just shadow of just laying there. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to end and Murder Cat's going to turn out to be the main character.
At this point, I want a whole Carter Mann Murder Cat comic. Like, what's Murder Cat's origin story? Seriously. Like, that's what I want now. I want a whole series dedicated to Murder Cat. Murder Cat who helped Suicide Bird. That's what it was. It wasn't Quinn's powers. It was Murder Cat's telepathy. She just thought of shooting the bird at Boomy Boy over there, and whap. I don't know. I'm just. This is fun. This whole action scene here is fun, and it's made even more fun with the reactions that Murder Cat has. And it's also in this scene where we learn that Artie is trying to train Gannon to learn his new teleportation power.
Yep, he can zoom.
Yeah, he can zoom, poof, and all that good stuff. And
live the dream.
Yeah, pretty much. Live the dream. I mean, hey. And I know Carter didn't mean for this, but everyone always injects things into things that they see, I feel like, oh, this is a reference to that, even though it may never have been a reference to anything. So when he says to Artie, two taps, right? And I see the tap, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like back in the 70s and 80s when Jeannie would just nod her head and on I Dream of Jeannie. I swear to God, that's what this reminds me of. She would just nod her head and then things would appear and disappear. Except in this case, Gannon is teleporting. So yeah,
it's a fun sequence.
We don't see how he does it because it just comes out of thin air. Or no, it doesn't. No, they don't. He does pick it up and throw it. Okay. As we're getting close to the end here, where Liberty is coming after Quinn. Wait for it. What was that? Nicer version of the rake trick. So it was Quinn doing the rake trick. That's funny. And he basically catches Liberty, and then we head back to the Booger Town.
Yes. Where it turns out they're the Greek gods, and possibly all the other gods.
Yes. Again, an interesting way to work in mythology and all of that. Very, very interesting.
It's a twist. Just caught me off guard, if I'm honest. Definitely caught me off guard.
Oh, yeah. It's very much a twist and shout. Because, I mean,
it's interesting where did the gods come from? They were beings from another reality. They came down because they wanted to, benevolent reasons. But then it turns out, hey, we took physical form. Oh, lots of stuff comes with being physical. And they treat it like being on Earth is an addiction.
Yep.
Which I think is an interesting idea.
Well, I mean, there are plenty of addictions on Earth, but I don't necessarily think being on Earth. I mean, maybe for them because they didn't have bodies before. And oh God. Oh wow. Alrighty then. Well, I can now tie Carter Mann's Immortal Orphans to Transformers.
You could. Oh God.
It's only human, and it's all Old Snake's fault because, transferring the minds of the robots into human body, I just flashed on me now. I'm like, ooh.
But he's still only human.
I can wrap this back to Transformers. Yay! Hey. There ain't nothing like a awesome human version of Rodimus. Anyway. So yes, they were the Greek gods, or they took the form of the gods kind of thing, and they say, would you go back? No, but why? Because I'd never come back. This is where you were saying it was an addiction. Yeah, I guess in these characters, because they're these giant floating snot balls now, I guess it would be an addiction for them. I guess for us humans, it isn't an addiction because we've been here all of our lives, kind of things. I don't know.
I look at it as kind of like the very common sci-fi trope of the being without sensation suddenly gets a sense of taste.
And there's your Star Trek reference, folks.
Yep. Also Red Dwarf.
There's that too. We then go to the Durant Center press briefing. And Julian with a older, monsterish looking version of Science Boy is there. And
yeah.
All as I can say is what happens next, and I don't want to spoil it for everybody because what happens at the end, the last two panel and a half page of this thing, I really don't want to spoil it for people, but
no.
Goddamn, Carter, you better not have us wait X number of months for issue 5 because I know you're working hard on this, dude, but damn. Because that ending.
Yeah, it raises many questions.
Many questions, and it's gonna, have us coming back for more.
Also have the little friend called the Blood Buddy.
Ooh.
Who's running around being like whatchamacallem, the house cleaning that robots, but for blood.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. I assume there would be Roombas in 2220. I assume. They're probably sentient, but I assume.
Probably like really interested in good pay schemes,
Mm-hmm.
Like, my God.
So, out of issue 4, what I get out of this is I now want an entire separate series of the origin and adventures of Murder Cat.
Yeah.
If I have to pay the man to do it, I will. I love that we get an actual origin of the snot balls. I'm just going to call them that now. The light glowing snot balls on the other side of the portal. I think that's cool, and I think that's interesting. I like how Carter makes these snot ball characters, these Portalumis characters. I like what he did with them. I think that's cool, that they are these inanimate objects that become human, that take shapes of the gods, or, they were gods and whatever. And then, I like that whole commentary on that being on Earth is an addiction for them. I think that's interesting. I think that's a cool part of the story. At the same time, I'm more invested in the human characters of the story.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I need to know what's going on with Julian's past, or with, whatever the heck's going on at the end of this issue. And I know at the end of this, Julian calls the adult version of Science Boy a monster. And he does ask him a question, and Science Boy says, "On it, boss." And at the end, it says, "Here we go."
Yep.
Well, what's the first thing that pops into my head when I see that line, "Here we go"? It's the very, very slow, deliberate, sinister delivery that, may the man rest in peace, the late, great Heath Ledger gave as the Joker.
Yep.
And here we go.
In the dark, I'm like, ooh, chills. That's why I'm like, give me issue 5 now. Oh, boy. So, yes, Carter Mann, Immortal Orphans, number 4. Overall, what are your final thoughts for this issue?
I like it, but I don't like it as much as the other one. I think going back to that insert style threw me off a little bit.
Okay.
And I really want the idea of the gods to play out. Like, I want it to be like, because there's quite a lot of pages dedicated to this. I want that to be significant.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, I think it's going to be an issue I judge better or worse depending on how time goes.
Right.
So I'd say right now I'm leading for 3 for this one.
Okay.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, regardless of, and I do agree with you, the kind of story ending of the main characters and then going into the story beginnings or the story origins of the snot rockets. Sorry, Carter. I just can't see anything else other than giant boogers. I think, like you said, he's back to trying to tell 2 different stories in one comic book. And I understand it's a pacing thing. I understand you're trying to give us explanations of what is on the other side of the portal and all of that. But the art in this leaps. From the first issue to now, I can see his improvements.
Yeah, he's really figuring out how to do proper sequential storytelling.
Yeah, and I love, even though I call them snot rockets and all that, I love all of the colors. I love all of the backgrounds. I love all of the multiple colored word balloons so you can tell each colored snot booger ball thing from the other ones. I think that is so good. But I do agree with you. You said a 3. I'm going to give it a 3.5, and the only reason why I'm doing that is because the art in this jumped tenfold, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. I'm so interested. He emailed me before we were going to do this. He emailed me and said, "Hey, are you still interested? Are you still whatever?" And I'm like, "Yep, still on par to do it, dude." It's kind of hard scheduling. Me on the Pacific time zone and then somebody all the way over there in Ireland. So it's, like an 8 hour, 9 hour, 10 hour, whatever, how many hour difference it is.
Enough. It's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. But yeah, so 4s for the issue 3, 3 and 3.5 for issue 4. Like I've said, very excited to see issue 5. Here's hoping it's on its way. Once again, Amazon, you suck. I just can't do it, dude. Because here's the thing. I'm gonna just go ahead and do this while we're on this episode because Comixology.com, for those that don't know, for those that do know, they have a very streamlined. If you go to My Books. In there, it is very streamlined. It has various tabs. You can search by series. You can go by lists. You can go by whatever. It's very easy to use. Meanwhile, Amazon doesn't have shit. I can understand them wanting to close down the Comixology website and fold it into Amazon.com. That's fine, except for the fact that you need to... I'm on Amazon, my Amazon's main page, and I'm signed in as me and whatever else. Under where it says Amazon and where I'm located in the search bar and all that, it has Michael's Amazon, Prime Video, Buy Again, Whole Foods, Shopper Toolkit, Livestream, Health and Household. It has all these subcategories. Why can't Comixology be listed under one of these subcategories? You click on it, and it takes you to... basically fold that website design into Amazon and still have us use the same damn design. Oh no, now it's all a part of Kindle and it wants me to download I'm not reading comics on my phone. I'm not. I've got a Samsung Galaxy S9. It's not a small screen, but it's not a 6.7 inch screen like the new Google Pixel 6 Pro is. It's one of those things where I'm a legally blind person. I need to see things on a big enough screen, and my 24, 26, 27-inch monitor is how I read comics on Comixology.com. So if they don't have a section, and I don't want to have to... That's the thing. Comixology is streaming. You buy the book, you can open the book, you can read the book. You don't have to download anything. Whereas...
unfortunately, it's a weird thing when you think about it. Your two media providers these days are slowly becoming Disney and Amazon, and if you've got a problem with how either of those do it, tough titties, basically. And I have problems with both for many reasons. But yeah, it's just becoming increasingly The problem with monopolies is that one person makes the decision, then it's... weird thing. I was looking at... completely at random today. I was looking at the Sega's mandates over Sonic for Sonic comics, and they're fucking insane. They are completely and utterly ludicrous and are completely indicative of a company that has produced 2 good games in 20 years. It's absolutely ludicrous. Why has Amy Rose never become gotten superpowers? Because Sega said only the male hedgehogs get superpowers. That's literally something they told Ian Flynn.
That's ridiculous.
Ian Flynn said he's going to stop writing Shadow very much, not because he dislikes Shadow, but because he dislikes that he was literally told, write him as Vegeta.
What?
Yeah. Sonic can never lose. Sonic can't show emotion. No one can have a family if it wasn't introduced in the game. Like, million other things. And it's just like, but like, this isn't being made by people who think like, what's good for the product, what's good for the audience. These decisions are being made by what's good for the company.
Yeah.
Like, it is, for whatever reason, it is better for Amazon to completely absorb Comixology and have it only on Amazon approved applications and devices than it is to keep on going what they are now.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, this is not to take away from the awesomeness that is Carter Mann and his Immortal Orphans comic book. It's just something we are going to be commenting on here at the Pullbag for a while, because if I can't read the comics the way I need to read them, then how am I going to cover them on the show? Because I cannot read physical books anymore. Comixology's guided view spoiled me, and Comixology has told me that the guided view isn't going to go anywhere. Well, that's great, but you still need a section on Amazon to anyway.
Yeah. And also, like, what they tell you today.
Yeah.
What they tell you tomorrow.
Exactly. You can support Carter Mann on Patreon. You can follow him on Twitter. You can friend him on Facebook if he's not in Facebook jail, I swear. Carter, I love him. And I told him this in the email I sent. I said, I love you, man, and I love that you speak what you want to speak and you speak the truth, but sometimes you got to fudge that truth a little bit in order to not get in trouble by Mark Zuckerberg and the Facebook team. You want to be able to promote your comic on Facebook, then sometimes you got to bite the left side of your tongue and the right side of your tongue at the same time. All right. Mikey is from Moonbase 2. They talk Transformers over there most of the time, I think.
In theory, anyway.
What do you guys got coming up for Moonbase 2?
We've got, for Patreon subscribers, we've got a Halloween special on the Woo Woos. We've got reviews coming up of King Grimlock issue 2 and 3. And Cyberverse movies are coming to Netflix in a couple of weeks, so I'll want to do something for that. And yeah, we'll probably do something special for Christmas. We usually do. And plenty going on. Usual news and everything else. You can listen to me have a small breakdown over a toy on the most recent one.
Oh boy, now I need to go listen to that, I think.
They fucked with Prime.
Oh, no.
So,
well, as long as it's only Optimus and not the true Prime, which is Rodimus, so there you go.
You need to let this go, man. You need to let this go. They did an entire comic which was literally just screaming, it's Rodimus's fault. Someone wrote, did you ever read Deviations? I don't remember.
Oh, yes.
I love that. It's just like a big, loud megaphone going like, you fucked up, Rodimus. You fucked up. I don't hate Hot Rod Rodimus anyway.
Let's see. Let's see, the guy that lost the war for 4 million years or the guy that won it in less than a year? Let's see. Which leader would I choose?
I don't know. Who was up against the crazy person?
That would be Rodimus.
Yeah, which means like it's really hard not to win against someone who can't have a strategy because he keeps shooting his own troops. He's running out of them. Galvatron, we need to call in the armies. I killed them all. Why? They said I was cake. They all said I was cake.
And I think, folks, we're going to close out on one of my favorite lines from Galvatron.
Well, all I can say is...
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pullbag, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at thepullbag and at geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.